Hey guys, Shelby Howard with Warwick County Soil and Water Conservation District here with you on Selfish Sprouts Day, aka our Invasive Species Day. Today we're going to do things a little differently. Unfortunately, with the rain and also with the timing of these certain species that we're going to be talking about, I'm going to be talking to you here at my house, okay? It is our agricultural themed week, and that means we are going to be talking about some invasive species that are causing harm to farmers. Now, it's a little bit different for how invasive species harm the farmers, because one of the big things with invasive species in the wild is that they are limiting the diversity. Well, in a farmer's field, they want a single monoculture for the sake of their crop production and their yield, which is huge to our economy. So if they have a great yield, our economy is better in the area. So invasive species do affect how successful our farmers are that year. One of the main ways that invasive species are harmful to a field or a cropland is just by how much money the farmer has to spend on managing or removing that invasive species. So if you remember, we said an invasive species is an organism that is non-native and harmful to its environment. But that also includes things other than plants. And in this case, farmers sometimes have to battle even things other than plants, which are pests or insects. And so if they try to get rid of those pests, they might unfortunately kill more insects than what they intend to, just because some pesticides are non-selective. Same with herbicides. If you are trying to kill an invasive grass like Johnson grass, you're going to end up killing the corn, which is a grass species as well, in that process. So it's very difficult for them to try to manage those things. On top of that, if a farmer is trying to practice good conservation and have some sort of buffer on their waterways, which are supposed to be grassy, if they have a woody or any invasive species growing up in those areas, it's going to be harder for them to manage. Now, the unfortunate thing is farmers have to battle not only invasive species, but basically any noxious weed that is trying to infringe upon their ground. Yes, these native plants that can be noxious or aggressively growing, they do have a purpose and a niche in our environment, but they don't exactly have a niche for our farmland, because our farmland, like I said, is trying to produce a single monoculture so they can have the most successful yield for their crop. And so if they have these noxious weeds coming in and trying to take over, it has almost the same effect that the invasive species do in a forest. So 3 invasive species that I'm going to have pictures of, since they aren't actually growing quite yet. One is Canada thistle, another is Johnson grass, and then the other one is poison hemlock. I almost forgot. So these are very commonly seen along the sides of roadways and ditches, which is, in correlation, also the sides of farmers' fields. So you'll see those there very often. You could see right now poison hemlock. You can see the leaves on the ground, the rosettes. You can see those growing at this time. The other ones are not quite out yet or visible, so I don't really have anything to show you anyways. Plus it's raining. So those are the 3 that you'll often see farmers having to fight. And again, though, there are other native plants that the farmers have to fight, but we wanted to stick with, obviously, invasives, because those are a double whammy. They are harmful not only to the farmers, but to anything around them and the wildlife too. Canada thistle is in the aster family. You are probably very familiar to what a thistle looks like, but again, I'll have some pictures afterwards. Very bristly, pointy looking, those pinkish purple heads. And then the other one, Johnson grass, is I honestly say it looks similar to corn, It's got these big, wide leaves, grassy-like, and I'll show you the seed head afterwards as well. And then the last one, poison hemlock. It looks very similar to Queen Anne's lace. Poison hemlock is what I would consider the worst of the worst here. Not only is it dangerous as an invasive species, but it's very, very harmful. If you touch it, it can actually cause harm to you if animals or you ingest it. So cattle ranchers have problems with this because it is toxic to their herd. And so if that is anywhere on the property, it can be very, very dangerous, if not fatal to them. All of these are herbaceous plants, so they would use some sort of foliar spray. If they can't be manually pulled, if you remember from the garlic mustard day that I did, some can be manually pulled, but foliar spray is pretty common, especially for large areas. And if you're not a farmer, which I'm assuming a lot of you aren't, why should you care about these, right? Well, not only will you see them in other areas other than farmers' properties, but the more that we can help control these, we can help our farmers as well, and that's really important. Feel free to comment or message us if you have questions about these invasive species or others, and we are happy to help inform you further. I'm sorry I don't have too many descriptions, or I can't give you any in-person demonstration for this one, but we want to continue to inform you during this time, and feel free to always reach out to us for any questions or comments at all. Thanks so much for watching. Again, I'm Shelby Hauer with Warwick County Soil and Water Conservation District. Bye, guys.